This is a phenomenon where a significant number of people collectively misremember a detail, a fact, or event, and it's often regarding pop culture or historical events and have vivid and shared false memories. This phenomenon is known as the Mandela Effect. And you may have heard of it. You may have heard of a whole bunch of different popular or viral things that have gone around where everybody swears they remember it was the Berenstein Bears, but it turns out it was the Berenstain Bears. Oh, come on, there was even a song to it. What do you mean? Everybody swears that it's E.T. phone home, but it's E.T. home phone? What you talking about? Lil Wayne even made a song talking about phone home. You know what I'm saying? So what? How are we all having a false memory? Are we really all misremembering a fact? Is that even possible? And the fact that that is the go-to explanation for what's happening. Like, oh, this isn't this isn't something actually changing. This isn't proof that the simulation theory isn't a theory at all. It's actually something that is reality. It's probable that we are actually in a simulation, and there's your proof that shit is motherfucking changing, and some of us are aware of it. No, it's much more likely where you could just be like, oh no, you guys are all just millions of people are misremembering this same exact thing. Something as insignificant as a children's story or a children's motherfucking TV show about some bears. Why in the world, if we're gonna misremember some shit, if we're gonna misremember some facts, and we're all gonna misremember the same fact, why in the fuck would it be about the Berenstein Bears? And fuck you, it's Berenstein. Berenstain Bears. It's even like, yeah, it's like a Jewish thing, ain't it? Isn't that? I don't know. I honestly literally don't know any Jewish people. I think they're like more in like New York and California and shit. I'm in the South, so um yeah, but isn't it like Stein? Berenstain? Stein. Ah, see now I don't know. And then that's how they get you. No, I'm just kidding. But it is. It's the Berenstein Bears, right? The Berenstein Bears. The Berenstain. But you're just a kid, right? What do you remember? What do you remember? What do you mean? You think that Tinkerbell would go across the screen when it was a Disney intro for the movies? It's not a thing. Never happened. It wasn't real. And people are like, okay, y'all are motherfucking trolling me. But guess what? Granny still has the original VHSs back at her house with a VHS player. The motherfucking little box things that you just, you know what I'm saying? You have to blow if that shit's not working right and you put that tape in. Granny got one of those. And people try to prove it wrong. Turns out Tinkerbell wasn't there. How do we all remember Tinkerbell being there? How do we all remember E.T. saying E.T. phone home? E.T. home phone? That don't even make sense. Why would he say that? Why would he say that? And then why would millions of people say, yeah, E.T. phone home? When it was something as like awkward as E.T. home phone. Like I feel like that would stick in your head. Like the fuck? And then this nigga just randomly said home phone. Maybe you're just like, bro, this is it's not that deep. There's little things. You might not be convinced. And I don't know all of them. Honestly, there's a lot of them that when I've looked it up in the past with the Mandela effect, where it's like, damn, they're so small and insignificant that it's like, I didn't catch that one, or I'm just like too young for it. Like I'm not old enough to even really, like I wasn't even aware of shit. Like the whole start of why it's called the Mandela effect, and I'll get to that in just a second. Honestly, I'm gonna have to just go back to my great pal Google because I don't exactly remember. That's one of those where I guess I'm just a little bit too young to remember. And it's actually after Nelson Mandela, something about his death. Again, we'll get into the details in just a second. But here's another one. that got me personally. Mirror, mirror on the wall. What you talking about? It was just one mirror. Talking about who's the fairest, or I don't know. I honestly don't remember. But the prettiest, the most beautiful of them all, something of them all. And maybe that is proof where it's like, see, you don't even remember the rest of it. What does your memory really have to say for anything? Again, it's not just me. A lot of people, maybe even you, remember it saying mirror, mirror on the wall. And honestly, it's one of those, it's like, damn, that's such an old, like, I was definitely a kid, like, talking about nostalgia. I don't remember, is that like, that might be either like Cinderella or Snow White. I'm not exactly sure. It's one of those. It's one of those where the phrase is even more popular than like necessarily knowing where it comes from. I don't know. For me personally, where it's not like off the top of my head, like, oh yeah, that's my favorite movie that I always watch. I know it's one of those. I'm thinking Cinderella, if I had to guess. 'Cause Snow White was it was about the apple and shit. Like she couldn't eat it. Had that like witch. I don't know. Let me stop. Memories, man, they're tricky. See, I've seen this movie. My people have put it on probably when I was like, you know what I'm saying, just a little toddler. Put that shit on, watching these Disney movies. But I remember Mirror Mirror on the Wall. I remember not only that, but it's kind of like one of those things where I said like Lil Wayne putting Phone Home as a song. Not no goddamn home phone. Mirror Mirror on the Wall, uh, I'm pretty sure it's like made it into motherfucking uh, other TV shows and other like movies after it. You know what I mean? Like in other songs and shit like that. It's made its way into culture. These aren't things where it's just like one off. And some might argue where it's like, okay, because of that, because somebody takes that, somebody, it's mirror on the wall. Mirror on the wall, who's the, doesn't even sound right. Like you're missing a mirror. But because somebody also thought, hey, it's missing a mirror, and they did something and that became popular. Maybe it's one of those, yeah, that phrase became popular, but the original, it just had one mirror. I don't know, man. I talked to some people about that one, and they could have sworn. They could have motherfucking sworn that it was mirror, mirror on the wall. But let's do some history lessons type shit. Why is it called the Mandela Effect? It's actually because of Nelson Mandela. So the term was popularized by paranormal researcher Fiona Bromey. It's Broom with the E at the end. So shout out to Fiona, you know what I'm saying? Paranormal researcher. Didn't even know that was a motherfucking job. But she discovered that she and others had a false memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, while he was actually released in 1990, and he died in 2013. Okay, that was, see, I knew it was something about his death, and then I guess that's when she coined the phrase the Mandela Effect, because then there's a string of others where this happens. So that's the 1980s. I wonder if there's like a certain timeline with some of these where it's like, yeah, shit started to fuck up. Again, maybe it is just false memories. Maybe that is the more plausible thing. Where a bunch of motherfuckers that don't know each other from a hole in the wall, like, you know what I'm saying? Literally on different sides of the planet, different parts of the motherfucking globe, are all having this same type of memory. And actually, I want to look up some other ones because I know there's one with like that peanut fucking nigga, man. Something about like also with the Monopoly guy with his monocle. Like, did he have a monocle or not? And it's just like, damn, I don't fucking know, man. Shit, I feel like he did have a monocle. I feel like, I feel like he did have a monocle, and then it turns out like actually no, he didn't. The Monopoly guy could see completely fine. And I don't even know if the monocle is because you can't see straight. Because you only got one eye that works. I guess let me just see this real quick so I can read or some shit. Maybe. Or maybe it's like a fashion accessory. The Mandela Effect. There was actually a film in 2019 about it. Wow, that's. The Nelson Mandela Effect. Pikachu. See, I'm starting to remember some shit now. That's why. And then I went down the rabbit hole before, where it's like, bro, Pikachu definitely had that little thing at the end of his tail. Or maybe it was Raichu or Pichu or one of the other evolutions of that motherfucker. I like Pokemon when I was a kid, so if you can't tell how I still remember the motherfucking names. Yeah. All right. So we got. I guess I could just. I'm gonna just look it up on images. It ain't gonna be one of those where I got an article. I feel like that's the first time I looked it up. It was an article where they had all of them listed out. But fuck it. Let's just look at some of these. You got Pikachu, and I'm gonna make sure I put it up so we both looking at this motherfucker. Pikachu, did he have a black tip at the end? Or did he not? Now that I'm kind of looking at it, it does look off. Like, why would he have brown at the base and then black randomly tipped at the edge? Okay, so maybe I'll give you that. I like to steel man this shit. I don't want to. It's not one of those like, yeah, man, conspiracy theories. It's like, god damn, I just want to know the truth. I just want to know the truth. And sometimes the truth is weird. Sometimes the truth is really creepy. Because if this shit is real, that's a whole nother rabbit hole. And it's like, how do you even prove? It's like, oh, I swear. But our memories play a trick on us. You know, our brains will play tricks on us. So it does definitely help when you have a collective. Come on, man. KitKat definitely had a fucking dash between them. But it looks a little bit smoother without the dash. I'm saying, like, if I was doing the design work for KitKat, it's like, hey, man, like, it looks better without the dash. But this is just somebody obviously photoshopping it in. So it's one of those where I swear that's how it was. Okay, I'm sorry. Which one are they? Which one are they saying? There's no way. Looney Tunes, my nigga. Looney Tunes. They're saying Looney Tunes instead of being tunes like cartoons. It was tunes like playing some tunes, not TOONS, TUNES. What? I'm fucking done, man. I'm done. Don't tell me that shit. Don't tell me that shit. Yeah, that's another one. It's not Oscar Mayer. It's Oscar Mayer. The fuck? And that's for people that are in the South, because I used to live in the North. It's like how people in the North don't know nothing about an IGA. Um, it's just a grocery store. Oscar Mayer. It's Oscar Mayer. There's a lot of that shit. There's a lot of that shit where it's just switching out letters. See, you got me fucked up. Froot Loops. That's what was crazy about it. Froot. They spelled it different. They're the two little Fruit Loop O's for the O's and the loops. Nope. Fruit was spelled right. It was just the loops that had it. I don't know. And now I'm seeing the Monopoly guy. Oh. See, no, I actually had that wrong. It says that Fruit Loops with the two O's is for real. See, I remember that. I feel like I remember that. Does that mean? Does that mean I've been indoctrinated into the fucking simulation, the system, the hard drive? Am I a part of the hive, the collective, the pod? Fuck. And then, how much of this, on a serious note, is just your memory? Because I feel like I remember the two O's, But I was reading this wrong at first. I had it switched around about what it actually is and what people think it is. So because I thought that's what we thought it was, we as in the collective of people that have noticed these Mandela effects, this phenomenon, because I thought that that was in that group. Oh yeah, that's how I remember it. Confirmation bias, I believe is what it's called. Because these details are so small. There's definitely a few that where it's like the Berenstein bears, the mirror on the wall, the Tinkerbell one, like that where it's like, man, I'm telling you, like this one right here, little Curious George the monkey apparently did not have a tail. Hmm. So if you thought that he had a tail, you're mistaken. Apparently, he never had a tail. He's a monkey without a tail. Because that makes it. Never did I ever see the story of that. How curious. How fucking Curious George doesn't have a tail. Is this one of those weird things? Like how people take their dogs and they chop off their tails because it looks better. Get their fucking ears clipped and shit so they always stand up straight. Man, it just looks better. It's for the breed. Now I'm starting to question the guy in the motherfucking banana suit. The yellow hat. I don't even remember his fucking name. Curious. Fucking curious. Where did his tail go? What happened to his tail? I'm surprised Peter isn't all over this motherfucking shit. You just got a monkey here without a fucking tail. As curious as this fucking monkey is, you never thought to let it go see some other fucking monkeys and see what it's supposed to look like? In fact, that has to be an episode. I feel like that's an episode. I feel like I've shown that to like my daughter before. Curious George goes to the zoo. You're telling me Curious George goes to the fucking zoo? And he sees all these other motherfucking monkeys hanging from their tails, doing what monkeys do, flinging shit with it. I don't know, tail shit. And he didn't question it. He was never curious about that. It's pretty fucking odd, man. It's pretty fucking odd that that is what it actually is. The monkey don't have a tail. Maybe we tripping. And honestly, I feel like I don't have a memory on that one. I feel like that might be one of those where it's like, yeah, damn. I try to catch myself with that confirmation bias shit. Sometimes you want to believe in shit that is unexplainable, magical. Magic. Because if magic is real, that means anything can happen. Miracles can happen. In the mundane life that so many people have just gone around and around on the hamster wheel for, isn't it nice to believe in something a little bit magical? So maybe this is just a whole bunch of motherfucking lunatics and losers that get their rocks off trying to pretend like shit is changing around here, that some shit isn't the fucking same. It's like those activity books where you got to figure out what's changed, man. And it's always the small shit. Come on, man. It says the peanut butter. Is it Jiffy or Jif? I remember motherfucking Jiffy. I feel like I remember Jiffy. I feel like I remember Jiffy. I don't know, man. That's just, see, now they're doing small. I'm looking at small ones too, where they just got like little logo changes. See, logo changes can happen. It's when you try to say that that shit has completely changed. I knew there was one. So I was like, I swear I saw one with the fucking peanut. So that's what it was. Everybody thought that the Monopoly guy had a monocle, but it was because they were confusing him with the planters, because you're planting a peanut. Planter peanut. Yeah, planters. Sounds right. Yeah, the planter's peanut had a monocle, and he also had a top hat. So everybody that got it confused, and this looks like the OG Monopoly. So some people will have a better memory of this than others. You feel me? Where it's like you can't even really find that Monopoly now. You get all these new ones. I think the ones that we got here that the kids like to play, the fucking hat talks. You feel me? Like there's all these different type. Like they got a SpongeBob Monopoly that they like to play. All these different versions of it now. But the original, there's some people that have a very fond memory of that shit. They said, fuck your peanuts. I don't know what the fuck you think this is, where I'm mixing up a game and a fucking afternoon snack. Nigga, like, these things are two different things. You telling me my whole childhood is wrong? Berenstain. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Is everything just a fucking simulation? There's no answer. That's how you would expect it, right? Is it just a simulation though? Like, does that really prove the simulation theory is real? Is that like automatically? It's like, oh yeah, see, because it hasn't always been the popular belief that this fake world, not even a fake world, this temporary world that we're living in, is just a simulation. That's not always what it's been. Sometimes it's been, oh, it's just a dream. This is something where, the devil and demons have conjured all of this up, and we're just really living in some temporal loop that they're making us go through, all to find out that we're really in hell. I don't know. You go through times, there's going to be all these different explanations. Of course, with all the technology that we have today, actually seeing where we're going with AI and VR and AR and all of this motherfucking shit is about to get real crazy, man. Real meet the Jetsons type shit. It's logical to think simulation. Hmm. We're not far away. We're not far away. Fucking Elon Musk says that it's more likely that we are in a simulation. He actually even put like some sort of percentage on it or some shit. Like, and it's not saying, oh, well, if Elon Musk said it, but that's a smart motherfucking nigga, man. Like, guy catches rockets. Just saying. And it's not about saying, oh, like, this is 100% the proof. It's one of those, like, damn, if we're talking about probabilities, we're not far away. Us, the people that were, like, in the Stone Age, like, a few thousand years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, we, we're the species that are now going so close to being able to simulate reality. Join everybody in the metaverse. That's how it starts. And It's one of those things where people are like, oh man, fuck that. Like I would never do that. So okay, cool. You're thinking very short. You're gonna die, my dog. What about your kids? What about your kids' kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids' kids? What about them? See, because they're not gonna have any ties to reality like how we have. You know, they're not gonna have any ties to this physical version like we do, because they'll be able to jump into something that is just as real. I can feel, I can smell, I can taste, I can do all of the motherfucking senses that you need me to do in this virtual reality. You can call it virtual if you want. I'm just gonna call it reality. Of course, of course they'll choose that because that gives me choice. I get to, what do I want to do today? Do I want to rule a civilization because I have some sort of complex and you know what I mean? I'm gonna get my fucking jollies off on this shit and having slaves and I don't fucking know, getting fed grapes while you're laying back. Somebody's fanning you with a leaf. Uh, that's that's what I picture. Somebody with the god complex that just wants to take over civilization. That's like some real like ancient Egyptian shit, ain't it? Or is that like Roman? I don't fucking know. But you could do that, and you could just switch it up and just be somebody that likes to roller derby. You know, you're scared of heights, so any type of hill, that's crazy. But in this reality, you can make it where hills go as high as roller coasters, but the ground somehow keeps you balanced and you stay on the road the whole time. So it's really a safe ride and experience, and you just get to feel the adrenaline. And oh my God, it's roller derby land. Of course I like to go there, Dad. Why won't you let me go there? What do you mean I have to stay in the real fucking world? Feels real to me. I feel the wind against my face. I feel the fucking wheels turning beneath my feet. Roller derby world is fucking real to me. Pops, you keeping me from my dreams, man. Just leave me alone. Get your own life. Fuck you. Yeah, Dad. I don't know, man. It's just gonna continue to be more diluted. The people that are so eager to cling on to life as we know it now. There's always going to be the people that will not ever stop riding their horse after their neighbor's neighbor, everybody in their family, and everybody else in the fucking city has already moved on and has a car. That's how I've been getting around my whole life. That's how I want to continue to get around. I don't need to go all fast or anything. That's what's wrong with this generation. They're in a fucking hurry. Always trying to get to the next place. Like they got somewhere to be. You need God. You need Jesus. That's what you need. You got the devil in those cars. I'm gonna just stick with my horse. You're gonna have people that stick to these ideas, to their version of existence, man. It's hard. A lot of people do not like change. Some people are like, fuck yeah, change. Woo! Change. Switch it up. There's a balance, right? There's a balance. Cause I ain't gonna be the first motherfucker that goes to try and like live on Mars or go visit or whatever the fuck. Those are the whoa change, risk, fuck yeah, don't give a fuck. Neuralink, put the chip in my brain. I'm not talking about anybody that has any sort of disability, and Neuralink is actually helping their way of life, because that's kind of one of those, you know what I mean? Like, why the fuck not? Might as well type shit. But I'm talking about the people that's like, yeah, once it starts to be commercialized and it gets put out into the masses, it's like, yeah, fuck yeah, infinite memory. I don't give a fuck. Agree, user agreement. I don't care. Change. And then there's the people on the very opposite side of the spectrum that are running away, living in the woods, talking about fuck all of this technology. Make America human again. Fuck MAGA. And fuck RFK Jr. with his Make America Healthy Again shit. We're taking that Maha, or whatever the fuck. We're taking it. Make America human again. Fucking robots, man. The fucking robots are coming. And y'all didn't watch that fucking Will Smith movie. You didn't watch. But it really does beg the question, if we are so close to being able to have this simulated version of reality where we will be able to feel, hear, see, touch, smell all of the things that we can right here on, Mother Earth, except we can transport our consciousness into wherever. I ain't gonna fucking cap, man. I'm gonna try that shit. You telling me I could just go fucking snowboarding and shit on fucking Mount Everest? I don't have to worry about, you know what I mean? Like climbing up that bitch, for one. Good luck to me. Don't have to worry about the fucking change in oxygen or whatever. Like the air will be completely fine. I don't have to worry about not being able to breathe right. Not being able to even fucking snowboard because a nigga's never done that shit before. It won't matter. I just can just do it. World's largest fucking roller coaster where you can go up to outer space, look out into the solar system, and come back down. Talking about an adrenaline rush. I don't have to worry about no gravity in space or not being able to breathe in space because we can bypass all of that in the coding and simulate everything else. Speaking of space, I'll be able to look out into space and everything that we're able to see with like the Hubble telescope and, as far out as we've already seen, and this is for right now, we're just going to get further and further and make better and better telescopes. You mean that I could actually just simulate that and go through that at my own, like literally go through at light speed or simulated light speed and just look at our actual galaxy? What? Talking about science class, man. So fuck yeah, man. I would sign up for that. Talking about having experiences of a lifetime. The danger, of course, comes in where it's like, okay, how long do you spend there versus an actual reality? And you have to make sure that you're coming out enough, even if you do have the means to just kind of fuck off and be some sort of virtual reality incel that only just stays in your virtual reality, doesn't really come out to do anything but to fucking piss and eat when you have to and shit like that. Is that one of those things where I don't know, I honestly I got lost in the sauce. Excuse me, Jesus. The simulation is that. I mean, because there's another simulation where I continued that train of thought uninterrupted. But for real, if you have these people that are in these virtual reality worlds so long, you'd have to and you are in a position where you could be in there forever. You, like I said, you are some like virtual reality and so, like some weird motherfucker that it's like your actual biological body is some withered away thing that just hasn't been taken care of, isn't even bathed on a regular basis, is not tended to whatsoever. If you're in the position where everything is paid for, you don't have to worry about reality. You don't have to worry about shit other than your biological needs. There's still the fact that you need to come out enough to be able to discern what is reality and what is not. And that's kind of where I was going with that. Um, so now we are in another alternative version of a simulation where I lost my train of thought, caught up to the train, put it back on the right rails, and started talking about it again. If that's not proof, if that's not motherfucking proof, I'm not trying to say that we made history just now, you and me. But we did something. We did something just now. I mean, fucking give it up, man. Give it up. God damn. You'd have to stay in it for a very long time in this simulated reality. I'm talking about a very, very long time. Like, imagine again, like time isn't, it's just something our mind, you know what I mean? It makes up. That's why it's like, wow, today flew by. Yeah, it's because like your mind can make something drag or it can make it go by really fast. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't it fascinating how you can get a tattoo? Sometimes it'll be like, God fucking damn, this motherfucker poking me up. And then other times you just kind of like days off and it's just like, oh shit. Like I wasn't sleeping, but I wasn't like, I was kind of like on autopilot. Like that movie Click where fucking Adam Sandler would just go into the fucking autopilot mode and the day would continue, but you're just like, I think maybe it's a defense mechanism. Whatever it is, I bet it could be boiled down to not ones and zeros because we're not just computers, right? But some little neurons or whatever. They can start tinkering around what little synapses need to get fired in order to let time feel like it's going by faster or slower or whatever the fuck. And they can simulate that. Imagine being able to live multiple lifetimes every single day. You just spent a lifetime as somebody new. You'd have to spend a good amount of time in these simulated realities to actually forget. Hold on. What's my real life like? You know what is my real life? Who am I again? My name is my name. Who am I? It would take a fucking long time, man. I would hope. Maybe for some motherfuckers, like maybe that would be like a kind of like a test of some sort. See how fast you crack. It's like when you're put in like isolation. You know, nobody. You just like I don't know, put in a room. No, literally no contact with anybody else. How long before you go batshit crazy? Castaway. What's his name? Tom Hanks, right? How long until you start talking to a volleyball? Fucking Wilson, man. How long until you have to have a Wilson? How long until you forget who you are? How long until you forget what reality actually is, where you are supposed to be, or what do you mean supposed to? This is where I'm supposed to be. This is my life, right? How long until that starts to get cloudy, a little bit fuzzy? That would be a test. And I bet it would be a lot easier to fall in line with these other realities the less ties that you have to the real world. You don't have kids, you don't have family, you don't have friends, whatever. You know what I mean? You start to cut off some of these ties to the real world, it gets really easy to fall into these other ones. And if you have that perfect, I don't know, synapses, or that's just because I'm dumb as fuck as far as science goes. That's my way of saying some sort of fucking brain cell or nerve or some shit gets triggered where you just spent 100 years being this person that is disciplined. They have meaning, they have purpose, they have all of their life behind them that they can look back on. And why in the fuck would you, like, we're talking about defense mechanism. Why would your brain want to remember a life where you have no ties? It makes it real easy. But because life as we know it is all we know. It's one of those things. Or how do you know that you're not already in a simulation? How do you know that you're not already that person that has been in way too long, man? Like, like those people like from Woodstock that just took way too much fucking acid or the brown acid or whatever the fuck they would say. Like, bro, is just way too far gone, man. Like, this is all that we know. If everything, us, again, how long ago where we didn't even have lights? We didn't have shit like how we know life today. Like, you know what I'm saying? People were fucking dying of paper cuts. Not even paper cuts. They didn't have paper at some point. God damn. Shit gets really weird when you look in the past and then fast forward here and it's like we're the ones that are able to simulate this. How do we know we're not the ones that are simulating? And it's like that game Sims. My little sister always loved playing that shit growing up. And they do like this weird little Sims language, like you know what I mean, as they move around and shit. And yeah, she would just get really into like that was its own life, and then it like continues. You have to go back to it and make sure you, I don't know, feed them or whatever the fuck you have to do. The purpose of the game, have to make sure they're still good, or they'll end up dying, or they'll end up like starving or some shit like that. Like, you have to keep up with them. And the thing is, they'll keep moving for a little bit. They'll keep like you know what I mean. Let's say like, I don't know, you have one that has a baby or some shit, so that you'll come back and your character is pregnant. It's like, oh wow, well, that's crazy. And you continue. So they got busy while you were gone. So if that's something that's Sims is that like simulation? We've constantly been trying to replicate life. There's even a board game called Life. Like, we're constantly trying to replicate life. It would make sense that if you replicate life well enough, that it would have that same urge or tendency to try and replicate life as well. So it goes back to, how do you know that you're not just a simulation of what somebody is trying to replicate life, and now we're doing the same thing trying to replicate life. And then there's going to be people that go into these virtual realities, and again, virtual, should we even call it virtual, these alternate realities. And how long until you're not snowboarding down Mount Everest, you're not going through the cosmos, you're actually recreating life like you're playing Sims? And it's a weird thing that we do. And I guess it's not weird if we all do it, right? It's natural. Come on, man. It's biology. We're human. I don't know. We weird, man. We're pretty weird. We're the weirdest fucking animals. Like, as weird as there's some fucking weird ass animals out there, as far as the ones that we're aware of, we're by far the weirdest. Not the weirdest looking. And again, that might just be my own bias. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a dolphin, like if I was like a nigga dolphin and I saw like a pretty ass female dolphin go by, I'd be like, God damn, that dolphin looks good as shit. And then like, we're just like these fucking dolphins. Like, they look like dolphins. But me as a dolphin, I'm gonna be like, yo, you don't see what I see. I know you can't tell, but she's fucking fine as hell in the dolphin world. Maybe we're like that. Maybe we are pretty weird looking. So that's just my bias, saying we're not the weirdest looking. But come on, there's some weird ass fucking looking creatures, especially down under the sea. Some of them fucking fish, them prehistoric looking motherfuckers, look weird. And insects, come on. But despite not physically, in my opinion, being the weirdest, humans are definitely still the weirdest. It just shows like how like fucked up our mental is. You know, like simulation, man. That would be it'd be pretty fucking wild. Why do we even run towards these questions though? Because then you come across the okay, let's say hypothetically, you're right. It's a simulation. This is all an alternate reality, and this isn't base reality like you think it is. This isn't I don't know, Earth 1, so to speak. This isn't base reality. Now what? What does that mean for you? Does that change anything for you? Well, it doesn't. It doesn't. So it's one of those like, okay, if this is a simulation, why should it matter to you? Because it doesn't change reality for you in any type of way. So why do we run towards these questions? What happens after life? Like after we die, where do we go? Where? I want to know. Who should I believe in? Who is the true God? I want to know. Is it nothing after? I want to know. Okay, well, we find out that it is nothing after. Does that change anything? Well, unfortunately for some people, it's like, kinda. Because if there is a God judging all of my actions, I gotta make sure I'm on the motherfucking best behavior. By no means do I think that the motherfuckers out there that want to do some serial killing, that are psychopaths, they're still out there. Oh, like, well, I mean, if you think about it, serial killers have gone down. Like, it's really safe. You mean we came up with security cameras? And it's basically impossible to get away with shit because we have like DNA and shit like that. I don't know. Call me crazy. I feel like that deters some people. I don't think that the psychos just went down because we have progressed so much. We're just the best humans ever, and this is the best time to be alive right now. Except for, a couple people talking about hate speech, But other than that, fucking excellent. Nah. These niggas don't want to get caught, man. They were so brazen. They were so fucking brave back then because they really felt like they can get away with that shit. I don't know. Just me speculating. I wasn't alive back in the the 70s, 80s. Like that's when you hear of like all these fucking I don't know. There's a show that came out on fucking Paramount, Happy Face, where it's like based on a true serial killer that like killed like 8 or 9 whatever fuck like raped and killed women, like a whole bunch of them. You don't really hear about shit like that. That's not even somebody that's like, you know what I mean, like Jeffrey Dahmer type shit. Like where you hear these fucking Ted Bundy, like the top infamous people where it's just like, oh my god, the most like fucking psychos, the ruthless ones, the fucking night stalkers or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? It's not just them. There's actually more of them out there. And maybe it's because I don't be looking like that. You know what I'm saying? And if I did some digging, it's just like actually, man, there's a serial killer that gets caught about 4 times a year. You need to do those true crime podcasts. You'll really be able to stay in touch. I don't really like that shit, man. I know we're going off on this like little fucking tangent for a second, but it's like I don't really like to like. I just stay on guard. You know what I mean? I get it. Evil's out there. I don't necessarily want to fucking hear about it though, man. It's like to a certain extent, like you start hearing, it's like I get it. Put a little spin on it, at least. You know what I mean? Especially when it's like the true crime and it's like you're really just there for the fucking the nerve wracking, trembling, hair standing up type of information that just makes you, oh, my skin is crawling. God, just thinking about it. Ugh, I don't know, man. So maybe I'm just ignorant. Maybe they are still out there, but I think that it has lessened. There are less of these cases that you hear about as far as like that makes major news. Like, crazy serial killer. Like, when is the last Ted Bundy that we've had where it's like you've killed a whole, I don't even know how many, people that nigga killed, but you feel what I'm saying? Where it's like you killed a whole bunch of people and not saying like, what I think it's like 3 is once it becomes like a serial. But either way, you know what I mean? Even if it was just low numbers, it's not about having the most numbers. Like, that's again, I don't even know how many people that Ted Bundy killed. Like, do you? But you probably heard of the fucking name. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's more about the infamous act of it, like the horror of it actually happening. When's the last time that's happened? And is it because we're desensitized, or is it because it's actually going down? I think it is because um, it's easier to be monitored. It's so much easier to be caught. And the same thing goes, this kind of tying back into what I was saying, where it's like, okay, if it is nothing after you die and there is no God, does it really matter? Like, does the life change for you? And some people, it's like, yeah, I need that monitor in the sky to keep me in check, to not feel like, oh, and fuck society's monitor. Only God can judge me. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those type shit. Like, fuck the laws of society. I uh I only know one judge, and it's God. If you take that away from me, who's gonna keep me in check? Who's watching me? What is this all for? I don't know. So why do we run to these questions? Is it because the answer will change our lives indefinitely? And if it isn't one of those where, hey, what you've believed your entire life is actually true, if it doesn't turn out to be true, my life is over. If it's not one of those type of situations, and it's just like, I just kind of want to know, where's that curiosity come from? Because I do want to know. Is there life on other planets? Will that really change? If they never visit and nothing actually happens before you die, like, does that actually change anything for you? No, but I kind of want to know. You know what I'm saying? We actually found a fucking civilization. They're about at the same technological level as us, and they're a million light years away, and we're able to communicate with each other. Of course, we won't be able to actually contact them within our lifetimes, but it is on, it's in the works. I still want to fucking know that shit. I will never see these motherfuckers. This alien species that's out there that we finally came in contact with, man, what? Fuck yeah. I want to know. Are ghosts real? Well, was that change anything? I want to know. Is a simulation theory real? I want to know. And is the Mandela Effect proof that we are in a simulation, that there are things that you can get wrong, like little glitches in the game, and that's all that is? It's like, okay, you have millions of people that are just having a false memory. You look it up and they say it's just a false memory. Like, even if you want to look up, like, what is this effect that I'm feeling? Like, I swear, it's like the ultimate gaslight ever. If this is one of those where, like, damn, we really fucked up. We ended up making it fucking mirror on the wall instead of mirror mirror when we spilled a little bit of water on the fucking keyboard. I don't fucking know. Like, you fucked up somewhere. Somebody needs to get fucking fired, man. Cause you're just fucking with people's lives, having them question things and shit. Did Mandela? I swear he died in prison. I swear he died. And it's like, is it just an alternate universe, an alternate reality that we're remembering? Like, you just go to sleep. You know, some people say when you dream, it's actually you just stepping into some sort of parallel universe, and there's infinite different universe, like in the multiverse theory. There's all these different universes that you just step into when you dream, and that's why sometimes you don't remember them. Sometimes things are just like a little bit weird. It's just like because it's not exactly how life is. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's like very similar, but it's not exact. Oh, it's in a dream. Like, oh, why do we dream every single day? So maybe this whole Mandela effect is just not necessarily a false memory, but enough people that are tapping into the same universe where Mandela did die in prison. The Monopoly guy did have a monocle. Pikachu did have a little stripe at the end of his tail, and fuck ET, he didn't say home phone. He said phone home, like a regular fucking alien would. Phone home, like that sound like your phone home. I'm phoning home. Home phone, like the fuck, nigga. It doesn't make sense. So maybe it's just millions of people tapping into that alternate reality. And there's no simulation. It doesn't mean there's a simulation. It just means that the multiverse is real. Oh, well, that's. I can take a breath now. I can, thank you. I needed that exhale. Jesus. Talking about a simulation. No, it's just the multiverse. Well, well, which universe am I in? Well, it's not really categorized like that. There's just different ones. I mean, yeah, but there has to be like some sort of base universe, right? Like universe one, universe alpha. The in order to have a clone, you have to have an original or something like that. Well, this is it's not a clone. It's just multiple. It's multiverse. Like there's a whole bunch of different parallel existences. It's not necessarily a clone of each other. They're, in fact, not even the same. They're different. They're different ways in which there's some where the uh, the United States never dropped the nuclear bomb on Japan, and the Japanese never stopped and ended up taking over, and they were actually the dominant force of the globe in 2025 in this other universe. And there are countless different ways. In fact, there are so many different other universes that there are some where you're doing the exact same thing you're doing now. That's how many different universes there are. It's like, whoa. Way to mind fuck me, man. But I'm the first one, right? So maybe it's ego. Maybe we gravitate towards these questions because it's like we need to have that sort of importance. Like God is watching over us because we're humans and we're made in His image, and we're important. And after this, if as long as we took the righteous path, we're going to heaven and we're going to live the eternal life in bliss. If this is a simulation, we are the original. We're not in a simulation. Like we can't be in a simulation. If this is a simulation, then that means we are not the actual like alpha. We're not the original. We're not the base reality. And does that mean that this is kind of like the Matrix? And our real bodies are somewhere else? just floating in a pod somewhere and we're plugged in here thinking that this is real life? Because no, 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 no. Don't tell me that I'm a fucking Sims character, man. And that even though all of this shit makes sense, somebody's just looking at me and I'm just going, whatever the fuck the Sims language is, right? Where we're just like, these fucking Sims, they know what the fuck they're talking about. Are we just being programmed? Is that why you can use mathematics basically to prove everything? Because we are all just some sort of math equation. We really are just ones and zeros programmed. And we can't tell what's real. We can't tell what's fake. This is real to us, but there's no base reality. There's no body that we unplug and go back to. Some life that we've missed. It's just not real. And honestly, they kind of touched on that in the new season of Black Mirror. And spoiler for anybody that hasn't seen the episode where it's like the black and white movie. If you don't know what I'm talking about, man, and you plan on watching it, just skip ahead a little bit. But they touched on it a little bit, where she goes in this movie and instead of acting like you normally would, she's able to just project her consciousness into this old-timey movie and recreate it. And then she ended up being stuck in there. And for her, time felt, that's literally what we were talking about earlier, where time, even though it was just minutes for them out in the base reality, for her, it was years and years and years and years. And she ended up spending time with her co-star in this movie that wasn't even real. It was just programming, just a simulation. And she fell in love with her. And she felt heartbreak when she had to come back to base reality. I guess it could be easy to adjust and adapt. And it's also easy for us to say that would never be me. I'd never lose myself. Sounds good. It sounds good. Until, whether you want to or not, your brain starts doing a pros and cons list between this reality and the one that is your base reality, the one that you're currently fucking miserable in. I'm not miserable. Your brain says otherwise. Because it's always like grass is greener on the other side type shit. You don't even have to be miserable. You can have a decent fucking life. But in this other reality, where you are your own God, you can create your own reality. Literally. You don't have a good life. You're not happy. You have a fucking sublime life. You are perfect in every sense of the word. It's scary to think life as we know it may not be what it is. So people come up with all of these different ideas, all these different explanations. And unfortunately, as a whole, people tend to find these ideas and then they cling on to them and dismiss anything else. So if you hear of the Mandela Effect and you think simulation theory, well, it has to be the simulation theory. And this proves. And you'll go down the rabbit hole and do everything you can to prove that we're in a simulation. And yes, at the end, it changes nothing. But why have we always been asking what happens after death? You know what I mean? There's a lot of existential questions that we ask that at the end of the day, ultimately, it doesn't change anything, does it? We want to know. For some reason, we are driven to know. We want to know the truth. And you got to be careful because in that pursuit of truth, it's natural to start forming beliefs and start leaning towards a certain idea, a certain thought process, and then get stuck on it. You know, like I was talking about earlier, that confirmation bias, you got to check yourself constantly. And fuck it, man. Keep asking questions. When is the next Mandela effect going to happen? What is it going to be? Because if you think about it, all of these, we're fairly fucking old. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like the old Monopoly, the old Disney, the old like, is it what's going on? Was it one of those where we working out the kinks? Like at first, the Sims wouldn't continue living that long until it's like, hey, you got to come back or your sim will die. You'll have to start your game over. Maybe that's how, like, you know what I'm saying? Like they had some lesser version back then that there was a whole bunch of kinks and shit like that. But eventually you can get to the point where the Sims they'll continue to live and the Sims will have kids. Like, they'll think that their life is completely real. They'll make stuff. You know what I'm saying? They'll have art. They'll start getting creative. They'll start building buildings. You know what I'm saying? They start constructing cities and shit like that, forming fucking government and shit like that, having laws. And then when they really start getting bored, they start trying to simulate life and shit like that. You know what I mean? These Sims are getting wild. Sims are getting wild. And then how ironic would it be? Like, how much of a fool would you feel like if, again, let's fast forward like 20 years or some shit like that, and we have mastered the whole virtual, fuck that, fuck virtual. We have mastered the alternate reality thing, where we can experience all of the senses and everything like we described, where it's not something that you would be able to tell the difference between what's that in real life, other than the fact that you have full control of what happens. And then you could even probably program it where it's like time based. So it's like, hey, give me no control what happens. You know what I mean? Like, we'll make it where it really does throw me by surprise, and you're just kind of going with it. This I don't know. It's a thinker. It's a thinker. If it's just some lesser version, will we ever get another Mandela effect? Will there ever be somebody else that I swear that motherfucker died in prison? What do you mean? He died like fucking 30 years later. What? Do we have to wait 30 years for that? Is this one of those where it's like, man, by the time some shit like this happens again, there's such small details. It's been so long. There's so many new generations where it's like, oh, that, I don't even really, you know what I mean? I wasn't around when this person was in prison. How am I supposed to know when they died? I've heard of the name just because, I've gone to school. But shit. Or maybe it's not some lesser version. Some, you know what I mean? Simulation 1.2. And now we're on simulation, like the Apple fucking 16, or the iPhone 16e, or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? We're on simulation 1645. I don't know. Maybe it's not like that. Maybe it's just like anything else. Shit happens. Errors happen. And it's not about waiting any time, because time is relative. It'll just change out of nowhere. Like the person didn't have to wait 30 years necessarily. They had the experience that Mandela died in prison and then continued to live their life. And then 30 years later, it's like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? Nelson Mandela just died. He's been dead. No, I don't know. Again, it's kind of like the ultimate gaslight. Maybe the person running the simulation is just fucking laughing their ass off by trolling people. Like, I'm gonna switch some shit. I'm gonna switch some things, and not everybody's gonna fucking remember how it was before. It's only gonna be some. And it's gonna drive the people that do remember fucking bananas. No, I'm telling you, it was just like this. I'm getting side eyed and shit. Let me just shut up about it. Obviously, they don't believe me. Obviously, I should question myself. Ultimate gaslighting, man. Like fucking hats off to you, Mr. Simulator. If that's, or Mrs. Simulator. Look at me being sexist. Fucking assigning a gender to the simulator that's running this entire simulation. What's wrong with me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hats off to you, simulator, for being the biggest fucking dick. And just switching little things like that. Because it ain't going to be something big. Or maybe, like I said, it's just a different fucking universe. We're just tapping into some shit. Maybe we're just all bananas and we just have false memories. I think that's the most illogical one, right? Like, imagine having a dream, a pretty vivid dream, and then meeting somebody else and telling them that dream. Actually, no, you meet somebody else and they start telling you about a dream that they had, and it was the exact same fucking dream. And then I want you to just continue to add on to that, where somebody else comes, it's like, hey man, I had this dream last night. And you would think that some motherfucking shit was going on. Like you guys are seeing some prophecies type shit. You might be seeing the future. There, you might have to become a superhero team. There's something fucking going on where we're all dreaming the same shit. I might be Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. That's like, these are the type of thoughts that'd be running through your head. Like, am I God? Is that what this is? Is that what this is proof of? These are the type of things, and it's completely normal. It's completely normal because you got motherfuckers coming up telling you that they had the same exact dream. Maybe they're God. Are you God? God? Is that you? Think how baffled you would be, even if it was just three people, three random motherfuckers that you never met, just came up. You just like at a fucking bar or some shit. Somebody's just like, man, I just had this dream last night. It's like, what the fuck? It's just getting really fucking crazy, man. Real fucking spooky. So yeah, I think it's the most unlikely thing to say that, hey, out of the millions of people, it's just a false memory. Okay, whatever. You the motherfucker that sees like a door open or some shit in a scary movie, and it just like slams or something. Be like, oh, it must have been the wind. Oh fuck. False memories. Millions of people. We all just having the same fucking dream. Like, we talking about probabilities. What is the probability? Like, every single person makes it more and more unlikely. But I don't know which one I lean more towards, whether it's the simulation theory, the multiverse, where it's like these are just different universes that we're tapped into, and there is a Berenstain or Berenstein. You know what I mean? There's the different, excuse me, the different types of fucking bears out there. Um, maybe, maybe that's a thinker. That's a thinker, man. It would just be really dope to be in the simulation or the universe that had all the answers, right? Or maybe that would actually be worse. Maybe if we started getting the answers to this, like why have we always had these existential questions as a species, as people, as humans? We're always just like, what happens after death? You know what I mean? Like why is it raining? The gods are angry. Like constantly having to put meaning to things. Maybe that's like what life is. So if we had all of the answers, it would be a very dull existence. And then that's when you would just say, all right, fuck this simulation and just eject out of it, boot up something new.